A survey of men dealing with fertility issues suggests their needs are often ignored. Network UK says infertility can affect a man's mental health, career and finances, but warns emotional support remains scarce.
When examining childlessness among men, there are certain issues worth considering. The fact that women gestate and give birth means that births can easily be assigned to the mother, but the same cannot be said for the father, with around 2% of children not being recognized by their biological father. Couple this with the recent rise in paternity fraud, especially with the liberation of women and the sexual revolution, and you have yourself a very interesting scenario. 60% of women born in 1945 became mothers by age 25, compared to 40% of men. Men tend to be older than women with the birth of their first child, thereby raising the complexity of categorizing men as childless.
For me, there was a deep sense of guilt. When you're holding your sobbing wife, it starts off month after month. And then when you're going through something like IVF, it can be week after week. And then later on, towards the end of your 10 years on this journey, sometimes it's night after night. And you go, I'm the reason for this. I'm the cause of you not getting what you so desperately want. So that led to a great sense of guilt for me.
Also, men have a wider fertility period compared to women, supporting the categorization of most men who embrace childlessness as postponers. Despite the longer fertility window and higher fertility, considering that men have infinite sperm and can get anyone pregnant at any time as opposed to women who have to wait for ovulation, women being more in control of the copulation and pregnancy processes means that childlessness could be involuntary.
Remember, it was year 2000 and my wife Merrin walked into the kitchen and she said, "Honey, I think it's time." We started trying, we assumed that it was just going to happen fairly normally, and then after 9 months or so we decided it was time to go and get some tests done. Those tests revealed that there was a problem on my side significantly, so we then went and tried a whole heap of rounds of IVF. Let's just go and do as many rounds of IVF as it takes to get the success that we longed for. What about you, Aaron? How long was it for the two of you?
For when we were trying, it's about 8 years of essentially not really having any explained reason why we weren't getting pregnant. And we had 3 miscarriages during that time, which, sort of that unspeakable pain.
Women having greater control in gestation and childbirth means they have greater influence in who becomes a parent and who doesn't. It is easier for a woman to force parenting onto a man than it is for a man to force parenting onto a woman, again, because of women control when it comes to copulation, contraception, and childbirth. Marital disruption often lead men to lose their children, or at least lose contact with them, thereby causing reluctance when it comes to claiming them in surveys. Gender balances in the mating market significantly influence the related fertility outcomes. For instance, more men than women immigrating into a particular society would automatically result in more childless men than women, but it is not the same the other way around, going back to gestation and all that.
When we were married, we were like, okay, we're going to have 5 kids. Now, I remember that.
Wow.
I remember being in
the
this
conversation where you decided how many you'd have.
And I thought, yeah, I want 5 kids. Like, that would be amazing. And it was, to think back, then 10, 12 years on, it's like, okay, no, it's, what my big expectations of life and these plans have all shifted.
Yeah, very much.
So, do you have that experience of seeing fathers and kids playing? Does that affect you?
That does occasionally happen, walking through a park. You do see a guy with his daughter. I would have loved a daughter. And the other thing, Aaron, I actually would have been a pretty good dad.
Looking back on it now, yeah, I think we are stronger because of it. Some days, some weeks, some months, we were pulled apart. For sure we were. And then other weeks, other months, it totally brought us together, and we were really kind of as a team going through it.
If you handle it well, it can also lead to much more intimate friendships when you do actually take that bold step of sharing yourself with somebody else. So if you handle it well, it can actually be a very good thing.
More men than women are single since men experience more unions than women, thereby making childlessness higher in men than women. Also worth considering is the fact that a large number of women find a small number of men attractive or as a suitable partner to have children with. The outcome of a large number of women being attracted to a small number of men is women ending up having children with the same men. The most attractive men, whatever the definition of attraction is for women, have access to an unlimited number of fertile women. Women recycling potential fathers, coupled with a rise in women's economic prospects, can be used to explain the rise in single-parent homes, mostly headed by women who have reduced men to sperm donors.